Gemini, hello there, my beautiful friends. We're going to do your general tarot reading for early September 2025. Thank you so much for joining me today. You know I appreciate each and every single one of you. So let's get right down to business, as always, and start you off with an oracle card here, just so we could dip our toes in the energy and see what's happening for the lovely Gemini collective. Hope you're all doing fabulous and fantastic, my friends. Let's get it going here. My guide, spirit team, talk to me. What do we got for these beautiful Geminis in early September? What energies, messages, insights can we take a little peek at? And yeah, we're just going to start off real quick by taking a peek at this card. Then we'll get into the full reading itself. At the very end, I'll pull you a bonus card from the Shadowland Tarot, just to see what might be in the shadows or what shadow work you can lean into, which is always interesting. But let's get it going here. Let's rock and see what we got for Gemini. Early September. What's the vibe? What's the energy? Let's get this card out nice and quick. There it is. Okay. Lead the way. This reminds me of the Fool card for some reason whenever I see it. I like it because it's take charge, it's making moves, taking action. You could literally speak about leadership as well, but to me, it just feels like it's moving, which I think it could be good for a lot of you. Now, before we fully dive into that, if you're new here, I'll be speaking about the September subscriber surprise towards the end, so you might want to check that out. And also, if you could kindly illuminate that like button by tapping it right on its third eye, I'd greatly appreciate it. But enough of the promo, back into the reading. Let's talk about it. So I always mention that with this deck in particular, I do like to read more intuitively. And we see her, she's not really doing much physically. She's kind of chilling there, waiting for someone else to lead her. But I think it's the inverse when I get it in the reading. It reminds me of the Fool, the very first of the major arcana, where it speaks about action, new, fresh, big journeys. I love it for that. It's usually very optimistic. Now, the only challenge with Fool type energy could represent acting before you think. So watch out for urges in this time. You might think or act before you even think. And listen, I know Geminis usually think everything through, but there could be urges in this time to just like do before thinking about it. But I do like it too. It's also take charge. It's very confident. So for some of you, if it's not you, it's someone else around you that could be gearing up to make some sort of big move. So I like it in this sense, as long as it's not being too reckless, right? So we're just going to leave it at that. Let's get into tarot. And yeah, I always say that first card, it doesn't make or break the reading. It's just a little footnote. So let's get you 3 tarot cards in the upright. Then we'll get into that intuitive juiciness. Shuffle it up one time here for my beautiful Geminis. What do we got? And while we get this deck shuffled up and ready to go, let's talk about last week's reading. There was strategy all over the place in the reading last week. I believe it was titled They Are Planning. Now, that could have been them, could have been you. For some Geminis, maybe you're deep in strategy about something, whether it's work and business or even personal relationships. To me, it felt very structured, or it needed to be structured, which is the opposite of what we got here with this card, whereas this one's like, yeah, let's do it, let's go. Last week's reading just felt very structured, very planned out, very plan-based, and it felt like someone was going to follow through with those plans. So we're going to see what shows up for you this week. As you know, energy is very fluid, never set in stone, so only take this how it hits for you, because we could be seeing your vibe or somebody else's, right? Let's get it going. 3 cards for Gemini. What do we got here in early September for my good friends? There we go. Thank you. Okay, King of Wands. So yeah, talk about action. Very similar. These two are cut from a very similar cloth, my good friends. I like the King of Wands for you because that is a complementary energy for Gemini. We'll just get him tucked right in by the amethyst. Let's get a couple more out here for you. I like that King of Wands there. Thank you. Okay, 6 of Cups. Card of the past. Why is he turning his back to the past? There could be certain things that you might be trying to do differently, turn over a new leaf, or that could be the advice, right? Let's get one more out here for Gemini, please. Thank you. High Priestess. So we do have a little bit of mystery showing up here on the back end. So we have a very intriguing spread for you this week, Gemini. I'm not feeling overly excited, and I'm not feeling dreadful about it. It feels pretty even-keeled, straight down the middle, which could be a very good thing. But let's go through. I'll give you some of the classical meanings and archetypes, then we'll get into the juicy, intuitive stuff. But at first glance, you do have a lot of water in the reading this week. With the 6 of Cups, High Priestess, that's water element. Now, in divination and tarot, water represents the realm of feelings and emotions, creativity. It's the love and romance. It's the inner world within us. It's matters of the heart. So it could be good for that. You might have a lot of internal intensity happening in this time. So whether it's like old feelings popping back up or just a lot of stuff happening internally with all this water. And you're not alone. There's been a lot of signs with water heavy this week. And we have fire right there. And that's a comfort element for you because that is the realm of action and movement, passion, drive, desire, and it's very much measured with the way I see this energy playing out. So I like the fact that the energy seems pretty even though like there's a lot of water. It feels like it's moving in the right direction. So let's go through and build this out piece by piece. Position number one, the King of Wands. Now, for a portion of you, you might have some fire placements yourself, Aries, Leo, Sag. Maybe you're connected to one. And remember, it's not gender specific. But we see our good friend sitting there. And I always say when it comes to kings, they represent control of their suit. And we already spoke about the wand suit, the fire. That represents the action, movement, drive, passion, desire. It's super entrepreneurial and it is action based. This is not an energy that likes to sit around. This could represent your energy levels in this time. So whether you have heightened energy levels, maybe you're feeling a little low, it all really depends. But I like the King of Wands because he controls the fire, where it's like, okay, I'm putting energy here, here, and there. I'm not putting energy there. So now it could be a time where you're balancing where you put your energy, who you give your energy to. That could all be very important with the King of Wands. Now, what's the challenge with a card like this? The King of Wands, the fact that he means control, could represent overly controlling energy. So I'm not sure if you're dealing with anybody that's like a bit of a, overbearing type. That could definitely be the case. But the King of Wands can also be very unpredictable. Remember, he's fire. He could go to extremes. So what seems balanced could get very explosive very quick. And it could also be an energy that's uncontrollable. So whether it's uncontrollable feelings, uncontrollable urges, just like we were seeing early on in the spread, we do want to take a very close look at it. Now, moving to the middle, totally different vibe showing up here. We have the Six of Cups. Now, this to me could represent soul ties, soul connections. We see the two children there. They're sharing a cup. They're sharing a good old memory, and they're just hanging out. So again, soul ties, soul connections, soul bonds, people that we have a lot of history with, people that we feel like we've known for a long time, or like even people where we feel like we've known them in another life. This card represents all that type of stuff. Usually it's very good for partnerships. So whether that's romance or otherwise, I really love the Six of Cups for that. But it is the biggest card of the past, things that have already happened. So whether you're taking little trips down memory lane, whether there's something that's already happened that's like really on your mind quite a bit that you're still grappling with, the Six of Cups could represent that. And this card sometimes represents things popping back up. So whether it's situations, whether it's people, it's like either a return or revisiting at the very least when we have the Six of Cups. Now, what could the challenge be with this? Sure, it could represent a rough history. It can represent bad memories. It can represent someone that we've fallen out of touch with. So we want to look at it much deeper. I initially like it, but it could take a turn depending on the rest of the reading. Now, moving to the very back end, we have a very subtle type of energy. We have the beautiful High Priestess, right? The matron of psychics, intuitives, and tarot readers. She connects to the zodiac sign of Pisces, but I like to give her to all water signs. I think all water signs do have similarities to her. So Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. Again, matron of psychics, intuitives, and tarot readers. So she represents the realm of intuition, feeling, your empathy. If you're an empathetic or energy sensitive person, that could be heightened through the roof when she shows up. She's a very subtle energy where something could be happening, but we can't quite see it, but we feel it. That's a big thing with her, where my intuition is screaming something. Now, she is also super mysterious. She is very secretive. Although she is in a nice balanced place between the two pillars, she holds the volume of sacred law right there on her lap. So she knows things. She has a lot of knowledge, but she's not speaking about it. So in the roughest sense, this card could represent secrecy, hiding something, feeling something and not saying it, feeling something and not speaking it. She is also a big card of the unknown. So the surprising, the unexpected, the very mysterious vibes with the High Priestess. So we're going to have to see what's up with that. So we have like a mixture of things, whether these are all different situations or the same thing. I want to dive deeper on all of it. Let's do it. Let's jump in and clarify. All right. Let's get a good shuffle here for you, Gemini. And yes, this is where I go intuitive with the message, which means I just tell you how it feels to me. So feel free to do further research or rely on your base knowledge of tarot, because as you know, every single reading is about the reader's interpretation, and I'm just giving you mine. Let's go in on the King of Wands. See what action might be coming your way. Oh, and yes, if you're a reader yourself, please feel free to play along. That's why the box is here. If you're feeling any messages you want to give to Gemini, you could drop it in the comments. I don't mind at all. All right, let's get that King of Wands out. Why is the King here? Gemini, thank you. Okay. So yeah, really watch out for controlling people, or even situations where there's not much you can do. So we have the Magician in reverse. He has a lot of very similar themes to the King of Wands, believe it or not. Whereas the Magician, yeah, he is the inverse of the High Priestess. So we do have this like secret, hidden, energetic energy that we want to look at further through the reading. The Magician in reverse could either be one, somebody that's trying way too hard to control something. So for some of you, the King of Wands and this could be Spirit saying, like, hey, don't force it, Gemini. There should not be anything in this time that you feel you are forced to do. Because there could run a risk of doing too much, crossing a line. This could also be somebody else where they're either trying too hard, doing too much. I feel like it's an energy that crosses the line. And I saw that in the Sagittarius reading this week as well, where it's like, no, the energy was good. Then someone does a little too much. That's what I'm picking up here. I do see action, but I feel like it could be to the point where someone takes a move or takes an action and does a little too much. So I feel like balanced approaches are necessary. For some of you, if that's not the message, King of Wands, Magician in reverse, sometimes there's situations where it's like, all right, well, I've done all I can do. So if you're going through situations where there's not much you can really do about it, like it's already set into motion, it is what it is. I mean, you might, I don't want to say just find acceptance about it, but the energy is showing up. And watch out for very controlling people as well for a small portion of you. King of Wands, Magician in reverse, this is someone where it's like, it's my way or the highway, or I will have it my way or not at all. So watch out for firm stances like that. Let's keep moving. So we do see action, but we do also see a risk of someone doing too much or trying too hard. But let's go in on the Six of Cups. We'll see what's up with that. I really want to get over to the High Priestess now. So why is the Six of Cups here, please? For Gemini. Thank you. Okay. So I remember very early in the reading, I was saying like, oh, well, maybe there's something you should maybe try a different approach. I recant that statement, okay? Because we have the Six of Wands. That's a card of victory. It's a card of blessings and abundance and wins and victory. So when I see it like connected to the Six of Cups, whether this is a very important individual that's either in your experience or about to come into your experience, because that could be the case. There could be someone arriving on the scene or involved in your experience right now where it's like, no, very important, Gemini. This is a very important person. Or there is something where Spirit wants you to handle it the way you always have, where it's like, oh, no, you'll get the win, you'll get the victory, but you need to handle it the way you always have. Like, go back, like, think about situations where you've gone through similar things. That's like an advice I'm picking up, where it's like, all right, well, you already know what you need to do, Gemini. You just have to do it the same way. If you do the same thing, you're going to get a very good result here, which is odd for me to give as an advice because I'm a big believer in like, all right, well, if something's not working, let's switch it up here. I'm an Aries, right? But this is telling us you already know what you need to do. So if you want that win, you want that victory, you kind of already know what you got to do to secure it. For another portion of, yeah, watch out for things returning in this time as well. That's here. So we have a very intriguing mix. It's coming off more as like of an advice spread for a lot of you this week, but we're just going to keep pushing. We'll see what's up. I like that. I like that energy in the middle. So it's like you already know what you need to do to secure the results you want. So there is win here, there is victory here, and you know what you need to do deep down because you've done it before. That's how it feels. But let's see what's up with the High Priestess, and we'll do a quick little recap before we get into the shadow. So why is the High Priestess here for my good friends? Thank you. Yeah, the energy does loop back again. So we see it in multiple places here. So we have the world in reverse. So going back to the past to find your way to the future. So for some of you, if you are up against any issues or problems or stagnant energies in this time, Spirit is saying like you've been through something similar before. You know what you need to do. Like go back to the well. Go back to what you know. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. I don't know why I'm saying quotes like this, but with the high priestess, the shrouded, the hidden, the unexpected, world in reverse, this could be an unexpected or a surprising return of something as well. So, like, there could be multiple things popping back up in this time, Gemini. Now, the world, if it was in the upright, normally it's a card of completion, right? Normally it's a card of cycles completing, endings, one chapter closing, a new one opening. It's very karmic. It speaks about cycles. When it's in reverse, it's a cycle looping back around. It's speaking about something that's unfinished. So, for some of you, there could even be a situation where it's an unfinished, unresolved situation where there's still more to tell. There's still more to the story. So it's interesting that we have all this energy connecting to the past, but there could be various things, situations, people like just popping up out of the blue in this time with all this energy, especially on the back end. But I think that's good for a lot of you, believe it or not. But let's go through and do a quick recap. Then we'll get into the shadow. So pretty congruent theme for you this week, and I don't even think you have to try to make this energy do what it's going to do. To me, it feels like it's just going to do what it's going to do anyway. But if you look here in the box, position number 1, we have the King of Wands with the Magician in reverse. Very important that you don't overdo something, that you don't try too hard or do too much. Just with what we're seeing here, the energy is going to flow your way anyway. Watch out for any overbearing personalities, my way or the highway. That's another big thing. And then for some of you, if there's a situation where you've done all you can do, then Spirit's like, all right, well, just let it sit for a minute. Let it marinate. Moving to the middle, we have the Six of Cups with the Six of Wands in the upright. Double sixes right down the center. It feels great to me. So again, for you to get the result you want, whether it's work, relationships, or whatever it might be, Spirit's saying, like, go back to what you know, or you already know what you need to do. You've been through similar things before. So we do see beautiful, victorious energy. And this is the first sense of something popping back up, which as we get to the back end, we have the High Priestess and the World in reverse. So it shows up again where one thing you might be expecting, the other thing you might not. So to me, you might even feel it in the air. But when I see this connection, it's like an unexpected or a surprising win or return, pardon me. But there is this really strong energy about sticking to what you know and doing it how you always have. So at least in this time. So please take a screenshot if you want to look into it further. Let's see what's in the shadows. All right, let's get a good shuffle here for you, Gemini. And yes, I always like to pull one shadow card at the very end just to see whether it's something within you or something you don't quite see. Shadow cards don't always have to be a challenge. They could be a good thing. So let's get you one. And if you made it to this point in the reading, please feel free to check out channel memberships. I'll put a link for it in the comments below. It's a beautiful way to support the channel, and I have much love for all my channel members. Okay, let's get this going here. What do we got for Gemini, please? In the shadows. Thank you. Death. Okay, so don't get nervous about the Death card in the shadows. It is a card that belongs in the shadows. And believe it or not, it has a lot of similarities to the High Priestess, to the Magician, to the world itself. They are cyclical, they are karmic, they're very spiritual. Now, the Death card is Scorpio energy. If you're connected to Scorpio, there could still be a very live connection of energy there when this Death card is in the mix. But there is this tie to things that have already happened, right? It's been consistent throughout the reading. It's consistent even in the shadows, whether it's good things, whether it's uncomfortable things. Spirit wants you to go back to past experience to figure your route forward. That's even showing up here. Even if you are experiencing pain, maybe I've been through some endings recently, there's just something about your answers lying in the past. And I don't think you have to be a time traveler to figure it out. So we're just going to leave it at that, my beautiful friends. That's what I have for you this week. Don't click away just yet, though. I'm going to give you the details of the September subscriber surprise. If you would like further insight on your situation, you could book a personal reading with me at my website, mastermetaphysics.com. The September calendar is already live, so we could have ourselves a little chat. But for the September subscriber surprise, giving away 3 copies of one of my favorite decks ever, the Everyday Witches Tarot. It's great for beginners and experienced readers. So if you'd like to get your name in for this, it's 2 simple things. As always, my friends, first, you must be subscribed. And second, let me know down in the comments, out of all the zodiac signs, which ones do you get along best with? You'll be entered to win, and at the end of the month, the winners will be announced in my community tab. As usual, my friends, much love, and I'll see you soon.